Today's video is a get ready with me, and I'll be recapping what went on in my life in August, and also if I had any triggers to my bipolar and how I handled them. Hi friends, it's Jess with Our Bipolar. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, just a little bit about me. I have bipolar 1 and I was diagnosed 25 years ago when I was a sophomore in college. Now, August was a little sticky, but got through pretty well. Now, if you've seen other videos on my channel, you know that I went through depression in June and July. And so I was worried about going into mania, hypomania, because I just tend to go into mania in like the back to school time. So sometime in August, September, October usually. So, I'm always like very wary of that and trying to avoid it. Started off the month, we had a couple of visitors like spending the night. And I don't know about you, but I can get a little just weird and uncomfortable when there are other people in the house. I just don't feel like I can do what I normally do. I just feel uncomfortable. And in this case, it was okay because both visitors were very low maintenance and they weren't staying that long. I love this. Just started using it. So the first person was my husband's friend. They were going to a concert together. I think it was Slipknot. I don't know Slipknot. Anyway, so his friend just stayed for like a few days, but then directly after, like the very next day, Brian's brother came to stay, and he was only staying for one night. Both were very easy, but there's like the anticipation of having people in the house too. So I was getting like a little weird. When I say weird, I don't mean I was having symptoms, just like having some anxiety. So that happened and it was like kind of okay. And then pretty soon after, it was going to be time to go back to school. So Brian's a teacher. Pearson, my daughter, she went into third grade. So, I think a lot of the reason that I have mania usually in September or August is because of that kind of like leftover anxiety from going back to school when I was a kid. And my first manic episode was in September, right after I'd gone back to college for my sophomore year. So I just think I naturally have anxiety that time of year, and the anxiety can push into hypomania, mania. I haven't had full-on mania in many, many years. So they went back, and I work from home, so I was kind of looking forward to them to go back. I just would like to have quiet in the house when I'm working, and as much as I love seeing them all the time in the summer, it is more difficult. So they went back and I was like, okay, I have a little bit of a break, but it turned out not to be so much of a break, because right after school started, this is around August 20th, my husband got COVID. He got COVID from a kid at school who must have come to school sick. And then Pearson and I also started feeling sick, not to the extent that Brian was feeling. But so then we were thinking, oh, we had to have gotten COVID. So we took all these tests and we just never got as sick as Brian did. And all the tests were negative. So somehow we didn't get it. I've never had COVID. Pearson has never had COVID. So I don't know how we missed it. Pearson did have an ear infection. She had to go to the doctor, and like she was out of school. I was out of work a bit, but we avoided getting COVID. So that was really great. I'm finally now having alone time. We're all well again, thankfully. But in the midst of all that, I guess like right before Brian got COVID and we got sick, I made myself sick. So I have a bit of a problem with sugar. I just can't stay away from sugar. So I decided I was gonna take a break from sugar for like a week, and instead of having sugar, like added sugar, I was going to have a lot of fruit as a substitute. So we went to the store and I got, we usually have a lot of fruit, but I got even more this time. So in addition to what we usually get, I got a cantaloupe and a watermelon. And I was going big on the watermelon, like every day, multiple times a day, I was eating the watermelon, and I started getting a lot of migraine flares. I have migraine. I think about 40% of people with bipolar also suffer from migraine. Not exactly sure why, but I'm one of those people. Like, I'm taking my medicine, but it's just like really not working. Like, usually I take the rescue med and it works for like at least 24 hours. It was working for maybe like 3 hours. Not very much at all. Just like, what is going on? So, you can't take that much of this medicine. They only give you 9 pills a month. Then on a whim, I decide to look up, like, can watermelon cause migraines? Oh yeah, they definitely can. They, for some people, they can cause migraines. So I was giving myself these migraines, and I was like sick a whole weekend, like a good solid 4 days so then we had all this watermelon, of course, and trying to get my family to eat it, but they said no. So I had to throw it away, and it was very sad. And what's funny is, like, when I was a kid, I didn't even like watermelon. I only started liking it when I got older. So just wish I had like avoided that whole thing. But I mean, it's good to know. It's good to know that it does cause migraines, because it probably had caused them in the past and I just didn't realize it. So another thing that happened in August is my very close friend, Keith, got sick, and he had emergency surgery. We ended up having 2 surgeries and a heart attack, and he was in the hospital for a couple weeks, and he lives back in the DC area where I used to live, and he was actually my next door neighbor, but we have stayed very close. And of course, there's anxiety around that. I wasn't sure. It was hard because I wasn't sure, like, should I go down there? Should I not go down there? There were other people that I was in contact with, like friends of his, but of course I wanted to be there, but I'm in Pittsburgh, he's in DC, and it was literally like the week school was starting when this all kind of happened. So, and I didn't have anyone that could really help with Pearson, like getting her on the bus and going to school, because, well, Brian was a teacher, so he went back. And my parents would normally step in a case like this, but they were actually on a trip. They were on vacation. So I'm just like keeping in contact with him, keeping in contact with friends of his, and like looking at flights, mostly to see like what is available. Is there a flight I could take, And also, if you've seen my other videos, you know that I have this travel dizziness that happens. It's called Disembarkment syndrome. And after I travel, either like on a long car ride or by plane, if I don't take a medication, and hopefully it works, then I will have dizziness. This time, I just got over it in July. It lasted like 7 or 8 weeks from a flight I took in like mid-June. So what I did was I had already talked to my psychiatrist, saying like I had taken the meds for the Disembarkment syndrome, and it didn't work in June. So he had told me, oh, we're going to up the dosage and it should work. So I hadn't been planning to travel, but I did put in for like a refill of that medicine, and my doctor did give it to me. So I had it just in case I had to leave quickly to go to be with him, because I mean, it was not looking good. But, you know, I also had to take care of my family. So this is the kind of thing where I could have bipolar symptoms. I mean, it probably could go either way. But I got through it. He got through it. He's home now. He's doing well, you know, as well as he can be. He's getting better. So, yeah, that was a bit tough. So what else? I had a lot of videos come out in August. I did a video with Rachel Foster. She has bipolar too, but she's also a wellness coach, and I had never really heard of that. I mean, I've heard of it, but I didn't know what it was and didn't know really anything about it. So that was really interesting. Check that out if you want. She was comparing and talking about like therapy versus coaching, and you know what the differences are. Like basically, like from her point of view, therapy can tend to be more about things that happened in the past, like past trauma, and coaching is more about like the present and the future, which I think, you know, therapy could also be about. And oh, I did the dating bipolar video with Brian. That was so fun. I've been wanting to do that video for like a year. So it was so good to like sit down with him and just like talk about everything from when we first met, and like it was so fun. So we're gonna do more videos. I wanted to do one that would be like, so dating bipolar and then married to bipolar. But then I realized that there's like way too much to cover from our married life and like having to do with bipolar. So I think maybe do like a few videos having to do with that, like maybe having to do with like our wedding. We had a destination wedding and it was all because of bipolar. We also went through infertility, trying to have our daughter, and that was really hard on bipolar, especially with like all the medication that I was taking and everything. It was rough, but we did it. And then just, you know, regular married stuff. I think that would be something interesting too. All right, I was going to blow dry my hair and everything first and finish up after that, but I just heard the lawn person come, so it's gonna get loud, so I'm just gonna stop it here. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.